This conference will now be recorded.
Today, we are going to learn a new concept called as Lightning Dynamic Component. Write down. Put a heading called as Dynamic Component. Right? Put a heading called as Dynamic Components. Start writing. First, take a short note. Component created. Component created during component created during a runtime environment. Component created during a runtime environment. Component created during a runtime environment is called dynamic component. A component created during a runtime environment is called dynamic component. Is called dynamic component. Component created during a runtime environment is called dynamic component. Is called dynamic component. There are two types of dynamic component in Salesforce. Number one, dynamic component bracket single. First one, there are two types of dynamic component in Salesforce Lightning. Number one, dynamic component bracket single. Number two, dynamic components bracket multiple. There are two types of dynamic components available: dynamic component single, dynamic component multiple. Components. One is component, a second one is components. Dynamic components bracket multiple. Right? Now, next, put a heading called as syntax. To create a dynamic component, we use $a.create component. $a.create component. We use a command called $a.create component where C is capital. Create component, component C is capital. How do you create a dynamic component? We create using $a.create component. Create component has three parameters. Number one, type. Create component parameters. Number one, type. Right? Hyphen, type of component that you want to create. Hyphen, type of component that you want to create. Example, lightning button, lightning card, lightning input, etc. Type of component that you want to create. Example, lightning button, lightning card, lightning input, right? Next, the second component or second element, right? The second parameter is attribute. Create components has, right? Create components has three elements or three parameters. Number one, type. Number two, attribute. Put a heading called as attribute. Properties of the component. Properties of the component. Example, aura ID. Example, aura ID. Label, title, icon name, on click. All these we put in the attribute. Example, aura ID, label, title, on click, icon name. We put it here. Next, third element or the third parameter, callback. Callback. Write down. Function that get invokes. Function that get invoked function that invokes after the component is created. Function that invokes after a component is created. After a component is created. A callback function after a component is created. Callback function again has three parameters. Number one, name. Number one, name hyphen name of the component that you want to create. Name of the component you want to create. The new dynamic component name. Number two, status. Status. Number two, status hyphen component creation status. Component creation status. Values are success, incomplete, error. Success, incomplete, error. It's a component creation status. Last, it's a component creation status. Success, incomplete, or error. Last, error message. Error message. Last, error message. Right? Any error from the status error. Any type of error messages returned from the status error. Now let me do it practically so that you can understand. Right? Let me go to Salesforce. Rupam @lt123.com, password CRM123, right? 4 hash. I'm logging to my Salesforce, right? I click on developer console. I click on developer console, setup developer console. Right now I click on close. Let's create a dynamic component. File, new, lightning component. LC underscore today's date 0502, right? Underscore example1 underscore dynamic component. I click on submit. Dynamic component. I click on submit. Now let's understand, right? Lightning card title equals to dynamic component. Now I'll place a button, lightning button. Label equals to submit. On click equals to exclamation C dot call me. Variant equals to brand. A blue button will come. In the page In the application, in the component, I have only one button. Remember that, there's only one button. Now I give a paragraph. Then I will say bold. I will say a new button will be created below. A new button will be created below. Here, a new button. I will say exclamation v dot body. Did I declare anywhere an attribute called body or attribute? No. Body is a reserved keyword. Remember that. Body is a reserved keyword. Body is a reserved keyword. Here, in this component, you can see there's only one button. But automatically one new button will come here in this place called body. A new button. After this, I'm giving a paragraph tag P. Paragraph tag. Control S on the keyboard. Keep watching. Whenever I click on call me, a new button has to be created automatically. There is no second button. There is only one blue button, brand, but I'll create a new green button using dynamic component concept. What is a dynamic component concept? Here it is. $A dot create component. The concept is $A dot create component. $A dot create component. This is the method you'll be using it. In this method, there are how many properties are there? How many elements are there? 3. In this, there are 3 elements. See, I'm breaking it. In this, there are 3. First parameter. There are 3 parameters. First parameter is the component. What do you want to create? I want to create a lightning button. First, parameter 1, lightning button. Second, parameter 2 with a comma. Because there are more elements, I will create a curly bracket in the second one. Third parameter is a function. I'm writing all the 3 first and then I will do. Third parameter is a function. What is that? F-U-N-C-T-I-O-N, function. This is how you write a function. This is the third parameter. Element 1, element 2, element 3. Element 3 again has 3. I will say my BTN name, comma. What is that? Status, comma. What is that? ERROR, error, MESSAG. And here you write the callback function. Total, there are 3 parameters, and this is the structure of dynamic component. This is the structure of dynamic component. Whenever somebody says that you have to create a dynamic component, immediately you have to do this. $A dot create component. It has 3 parameters. Parameter 1. Parameter 2 is what? For the lightning button, what are the things you want? You have a label. Label, colon. You have to give in a JSON format. What is the label of the button? Label of the button is saying that wish me. This is the label of the button. Comma. Lightning button has what are the properties? Has label, variant. I want green button. Success. Next, what else you want? I want an icon. I see an icon name. What is icon name? I will say STN utility, UTILIT, utility, colon bug. Bug, comma. What else you have? I have, right, icon name is done. After icon name, I will say on click. On click. On click. Component dot, COMPONENT, component dot. Component dot get reference. Get, referenc, spelling is correct. referenc, correct. Get reference. Here, what you will say, c dot wish me. Where is this wish me? It's another function I'm writing. Another function, comma, wish me. Whenever you click that button, a logic has to be called. Here is the logic. A button which will be automatically created, a green button. When you click that green button, I want an alert, A-L-E-R-T, alert. Alert what? I will say happy birthday or good morning. One box will come. A lightning button will be created with a label wish me, with a variant success, with the icon name utility bug. When you click on it, it will call wish me. Where is wish me? Wish me is another function here. First, what do you want to create? I want to create a button. What are the properties of button? That is the second parameter. Third parameter. Once this button is created, what do you want to do? Right? It's a callback function. Button is not yet created now. You have to create it. If everything is good, then in this I'll write if. First, get the status. Already the status is there. I don't need to say where status equals to. Right? Nothing. Directly I'll say if status is equals to success. If my BTN was able to create. Now you will say where BD is equals to component dot get. Get the location. Where do you want to push this component? Get component dot get. Get what? V dot. What it is? Here it is called body. Body is a keyword. V dot body. Once you got it in the BD, I will say BD dot push. Push is a command. On the BD, I am pushing what? My BTN, the button which I just created on the top. My BTN. And then I will say what? Component dot set. I'm sending it back to the page. V dot body, comma BD. I pushed the button. Control S, my, okay, passing error line number 10, right?
The fourth line component spelling is wrong.
COM in the fourth line. Component spelling is wrong. COMPONENT. Create component. Now there we go. Right? Anybody has any questions? Have a look first. We all are in the advanced programming now. We are creating a component dynamically. Right? What is the use? Where it is used? I'll tell you. We use a command called as $A create component. It has 3 parameters. Number 1, the component name. What do you want to create? Number 2, the value of those components. Number 3, a function. In the function, there are 3 parameters: button, status, error message. My button is the name of the component. I'm creating a button, so I'm giving a name. Status will give me success, error, incomplete. That means it's not yet able to create. Whenever the status is success, I'm calling the location. I'm on that location, I'm pushing my button, and then I'm sending it back to the same location. Get and set. In between, there's a push. Control S on the keyboard. File, new, application. I copy this. I say LA. And I click on submit. I'm creating a Lightning application. I will call my component here C colon, right? Extends equals to force SLDS. It's a time for us to see the preview. Click on preview. In the page, physically, there is only one button called submit, blue button. Whenever I click on button, blue button, a new button will be created below. Submit. See, a new button comes called wish me. If you go and see the component, there is no button called wish me there. We created it dynamically. Go ahead and check the component. Is there any button called wish me anywhere? There's only one button. In my component program, there is only one button. But now I have two buttons on the screen. The second button was created dynamically. When you click on wish me, I'll get good morning. Suppose Rupam, I create one more, submit. See, how many times you click submit, that many times the button will be created. I'm clicking submit, submit, submit. I click on wish me, good morning. Any button you click, good morning. See, these many buttons got created. These many buttons got created. How will you control this? Does anyone know how to control this? If I click on submit, one more button will come. Because system is, as soon as you click this button, a button is created dynamically. I want to stop this.
Dynamic
How can you stop it?
single.
Sorry?
By using dynamic component single.
That I'm doing a single only. This is dynamic component single only.
Oh.
A single component is created. When you click a button, one component is created. When you click a button, 10 controls are not getting created. At a time, only one is getting created. When you go ahead, refresh this page, right? 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 When you click this button, one component got created. This is called single component. But the leakage here, the problem here is that when you click one more time, another one, see, every click is creating one component. This is called single component. When you click one, if I get 10 controls, I get a button, I get an input, I get a card, then it's called dynamic components. Here it is, right? Only single component, right? Now the problem is that every time you click, the button keeps on coming. How will you stop it, guys? Anybody has any idea?
We'll take one count variable and we'll
Correct. Where will you declare? Will you declare in the method? No, declare in the attribute, right? Always aura attribute aura attribute. What will take, right? Name of the attribute. What is the name of the attribute? Equals to my flag. Type. What is the type? Take boolean, take string, your wish. Take any value, I don't mind. Take string, take boolean, 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 right? Default equals to what? True. Whenever the component loads, my flag is true. Now I come to the controller, and if I'll say first thing that I will do is that get the component value, var flg flag equals to components. Component dot get what? Get v dot, what is the attribute name? My flag. What is the value? Automatically the value is true. I will say if flag equals to true, flag equals to true, right? Equals to true. Flag is equals to true. Then immediately component.set, change the flag value to false. Component.set, set what? v.flag, comma, false. Set the value to false. And then continue your dynamic programming. Where is there? Till here. Control X. Continue with the dynamic programming. Over, guys. So first time the value is true. If it's true, system is going to create a component. Immediately the value is set to false. Next time when you click the button, whenever this function is called, the value of this is now what? No more true. It is false. Second time it will not create another component. Control S. Control S. Go ahead and see.
Rupam, it's similar to recursive trigger.
Yeah, like a recursive trigger. Yes. Submit. Created. Second time when I click on it, see, I'm clicking now. Click, 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 click. Nothing is happening. Only one button is created. See, because first time the value is true. You click the button, the blue button, immediately call me will be called. Where is call me? Call me is here. It calls the call me, right? Whenever it calls the call me, first I'm getting the flag. Flag value is true. Is flag equals to true? Yes. Immediately set value to false. That means in the component, I'm setting this value to false now. Next step, when you click, and then system will create a dynamic component. Next time when you click, the value is no more true. The value is what? Here it is false. If it false, my next component will not be created. See, Rupam, everybody able to understand till here before I go to the next level? See, now only one component is created at a time. Click submit, wish me. Click wish me, good morning come. Rupam, when you click wish me, another component to be created. Wow, that's good. Again, copy component. See, I'm copying everything from here. Control C. After good morning, I want another dynamic component. This time, button is bye bye. Button name is bye bye. Variant is destructive. It will call me, right? Buy me. Buy me. Where is buy me? I'm writing a one more function. Control C, comma, buy me. Buy me. Here I'll put a message called as bye bye. Here also again I can create another dynamic component. I'll say what? Bye bye guys. See, Control S. First button, a blue button is what is there on the page. You click a green button will come. You click a green button, red button will come. See, one after one dynamic component I'm creating. Enter. Submit, wish me. Click wish me, one message will come, good morning, and immediately one button will come, red button, bye bye. You click on bye bye, you'll get another answer called bye bye. This one dynamic component created another component created another component. See, you can create anything. You can create a text, you can create an input. For example, Y button, Rupam. We will create lightning input. Lightning input. Label equals to enter your name. Enter your name. Success. In input there is no variant, so you cannot. In input there is no icon, you cannot. In input you don't have on clicks, so you cannot. What are the things we have in input? In input, what do we have? Label, right? We have type. Type equals to text, date, number, anything. Type equals, if you don't write by default text. In input you have a value. But here you can't write an attribute because attributes are written in a component, but you're in the controller. So what we will do, we will say aura ID. Aura ID. Aura ID equals to INP1. INP1. See, INP1. I'm creating an input here. INP1. Right? An input called INP1. Right? What I'm doing, I'm changing the first component. Immediately one first component will create. Why I'm changing the first one? I should change the second one, no? Control Z, Control Z. Wish me. Okay. Whenever you click on wish me, I don't want a button. I want an input. INPUT input. 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 Lightning input. Label equals to enter your name. Enter your name. Enter your name. Right? We don't have variant. We don't have all these things. You directly say, what is that? Directly you go ahead and put, right? What is that value? No, aura ID. AURA, aura ID. What is that? INP1. Whatever the data that you capture here is INP1. INP1. Right? Input 1. Input 1. Now, right? Input 1. See? Right? This function will never come because there is no bye-bye function, first of all. Automatically, this time, system is going to create. This time, it will not create a button. Second time, when you click, it will create an input. Let's save it. There we go. It got saved. Now let's come and refresh here and see. I click on submit. Automatically wish me will come. See. Good morning. We created a button, no? Right? Let us see what we did. Let us check it out. Right? So input. Starting is input I gave. Second also input I gave. On click on the input, it's coming here. Okay. See, lightning input. On click, whenever you click on the input, another input is getting created. Enter your name. Here it is what? Label is wish me. Right? In input there is no label. So see how it's coming up here. Wish me. Right? You click on it. Good morning, and enter your name comes. You click on the field. Second field you enter, nothing will happen. First field you click, immediately, right? See, another field is getting created. See, first one is input, second one is also input. Label of the input. What is the label? I gave wish me. Right? Rupam, as soon as it starts, right? I don't want good morning. Whatever you enter here, right? I want that to be saying good morning, Rupam. Right? So if I enter the data alert here, I want to capture the data which is in the previous one. In that case, declare aura ID. AURA aura ID. I will say equals to what? There I have taken input what? Input 2. Let me put this input 2. Here I'll say input 1. INP1. I want to get this value and I want to display a message. What I found, there's a comma missing, Control S. Now there shouldn't be error. Perfect. Here, wish me called, and immediately I want the data that you entered should be displayed, and it should say, hi, good morning. So how we will do? Var DT, var data is equals to COMPONENT component dot find. Whenever you use aura ID, we use what? Component.find.value. In this, what is there? In this, v.value. Component.find what? Find the aura ID. What is the aura ID? INP1. Tell me whether it's a correct or not. Everyone, is it a correct or not? Is this the way we use component.find? Yes or no? We did in long back class.
Yes, Rupam.
Right? Now I will say plus data. Control S on the keyboard. Keep watching. I refresh. When you click on a button, a text called wish me will come. When you click on it, there's an error. What is that? Component.find value is what is that? Component wish me. Let us check it out. Right?
V value is not there.
Sorry? Here it's not v.value. How do you write this component.find function? Open it. That's the reason I'm asking you, guys. How can you write the component.find? Recollect. Go back.
Instead of on click, you can kept into on blur.
On change also I can say.
But
On
on
change.
change, okay.
On change. Right? See, that's okay. That's a function. That's okay. You put it on blur, you put anything. That's a function. When it has to call, right? That's not the question here. Right? Question is that how do you call on click? Right? Sorry, the question is how to use component.find.
Rupam, in the 17th column, right?
Sorry,
Get
where?
17th component will get reference.
There's a double rip. I mean, I'm able to hear your voice.
In the 17th line, there is a semicolon.
17th line. That's okay. That's not an issue. Here it doesn't make a difference. That is not a problem. How do you use component.find?
Get values.
It is get. It is not. Here the answer is get. Come on. You cannot forget these type of commands. It's not here get v.value. Here it's not value. It's get v.value. Now I load my component. Did I saved it? Yes. Submit. Wish me. What happened? Wish me component.find value is not a function. Let's check. Right? Let us see what we have written wrong here in the program. Right? On click, I'm calling wish me. In the wish me, right? Component.find inp1. Right? Component.find inp1 or ID is inp1 dot get value. Yes, tell me.
Body, something like value.
No.
Body like.
Right.
Here
Again.
we didn't declare anything. I think.
No, that is what we are taking it from this input, right? Whatever you're entering here. Right? I'll rather than on change, right? On change. I'll take on change. Okay, let's see. Or right. Initially the value is null. So anyhow, I should get good morning null. Right? On change, call this. Whenever you call this, right? Component.find inp1. It'll find this inp1. Component.find, that is the aura ID that we declared. Aura ID. Yes. It'll find. Get the value of it. Put it on the alert box. Put it on the alert box. That's what we are trying to do it. So let's see. Click on submit. Wish me comes. Right? R. See, now it's coming. It's not right. RUP. See, every time RU. See, good morning, RU. As I'm typing on change, RUP, it's working. See, it's capturing the value. Right? What event I take, it's later part of the story. Whether I take component, I take here on blur, right? On change. Now I've taken on change. Every time I'm writing, a change is happening and it's coming. It's working. What event you take, it's later part of the story. I was taking on click. Now I'm taking on change, RUPO. See, good morning, Rupo. And immediately one more field comes in because there are two things executing. It calls this wish me. In the wish me, you're capturing the data, you're displaying the data, and again you're creating one more input saying enter your name. On that also you can write on change, on blur, and you can say anything. From the previous component, right? Even if you enter a data, that data can be checked, that can be shared. For example, here also I can write on change or on blur. After that, you type here something, you can take this data anywhere. For example, this data that I'm typing Rupo, RUPOM, it says good morning, Rupam. See? So dynamic this data is entered in a dynamic component. There is no text label. If you go and check in the component, there is no text, only one button. There is no input text. But you see in the output, all the input texts are created. The way I controlled Rupam, I will also create a set a flag for this name so that every time the name doesn't come. The way when I click on submit, see, wish me is not coming. Wish me is coming only one time. Same way in the wish me also, I'll create one more flag and I can restrict these type of name here, multiple component creations. Earlier, the same thing was happening with the button. When you click on submit button, green was coming. Again, you click submit, another green was coming. Every time the function was called. Here also same thing is happening. Every time you write the Rupam space C, see, Rupam C. And every time you are displaying alert message and the box is increasing. In such case, we have to declare an attribute. The way we control the first one, get the flag. If the flag is true, then only create the component. Same thing I have to do here. Create the flag, store it, saying that true. When it's true, create the component, immediately set it to false so that next time this will not come. This will not get triggered. It will not create that component, right? Let us do this, right? Keep watching. I'll declare one more aura attribute. My flag 2, control S. Now I come to my controller. Whatever I did in the controller 1, control C, same thing I'll do here, right? After you display the alert message, get the flag 1, v dot flag 2, or let's say 2, anything. What is that? Flag 2? Yes, flag 2. I got it. If flag 2 is true, immediately set the flag 2 to false. See, component dot set, immediately I'll be setting it to false. Flag 2 is true, immediately set it to false. Flag 2 false. Then create the component, right? Finally, if bracket is closed, control S. Over. Next time you see, multiple times this will not appear. Click submit. One will come. Wish R. See, Rupam. One time will come. U. Next time when I say U, message is coming, but the box is not getting created. P. Message is coming. Box is not getting created. O. M. See, good morning, Rupam. But you're restricting the creation of multiple components. How? Using a simple Boolean flag. One simple flag you have to introduce. Guys, able to understand? Yes or no? Everyone?
Yes, Rupam. It's clear.
No. Tell me this.
Suppose Rupam, if I want to garden, then
You
how
want
to layout item and all, whether I have to create another component or else in the same component itself we can
I'll come
create.
there. I'll come there. I'll come there. Now, wait. Let's create a dynamic component again. I'm closing everything. Second example. I'll show you 2-3 examples. Don't worry. Today's class will be on completely on dynamic component only. Tomorrow we will see components. File. New. Lightning component. Dynamic component 2. LC. Example 2. Example 2. Dynamic component 2. Right? Here. Lightning. LIGHT. LIGHT and I. Lightning button. No card, nothing. Directly I'm calling button. Lightning button. Label equals to create component. Button name is create component. Variant equals to brand. A blue button will come. On click. Exclamation C dot call me. Those who didn't understood for the first time, you can now see. Call me. Perfect. C dot call me. Now here, as of now, bold tag. Right? DINAMIC, dynamically created component will appear below. I'm just giving a label as some text. Dynamic created component will appear below. Between this, I'll give a paragraph tag, a break tag or a paragraph tag. One line gap will be created. After that, another line will be created, paragraph tag. Now, wherever you want the component to be created, we have to use what? Exclamation v.body. Can we create anything else? No, Rupam, we cannot. You have to use this only, v.body. Now, Control S. What will come here? Nobody knows. What will come here? Nobody knows as of now. Even if a hacker hacks this page, he will not be able to know what is getting created. On the page, it will say v.body. In this v.body, what I'm going to push, nobody knows now. Right? So I say call me. I go to the controller and I say call me. Here I will create a component dynamically. And this time I will create custom component dynamically. Keep watching. $A. Every scenario is different, but programming is same. Scenarios are changing. Create component. CREAT, create, COMPONENT, create component. Create component has 3 parameters. Create component has 3 parameters. Everyone knows it. First parameter, P1, comma, P2, parameter 2. P3 is a function. So let me write FUNCTION function. Function is written like this. This is the way we write a function. Everyone knows it. Right? Programming, I'm pushing to the next line. Here we go. This is my function program. In this function, there are 3 parameters. One is my CCMP, my custom component, comma. Second one, error status. Third one, error message. Don't change the remaining 2. Let it keep it as it is. ERR over error, MESSAG. System will return to the status only. If you take any other word, it might not return. First word only change it. Give anything. Rupam, Ravi, your own wish. Now, what am I going to create now? This is the structure of dynamic component. Everyone has to remember this. Now, let's open an old component. Open Lightning resource. I will say account search. We did an account search. Here it is. Open. I'm opening the application. Click preview. I can type A and I click on search button. Immediately table come. This component I want to be created dynamically. I'm closing it. Right? Come here. Click on the application. Take the component name. This is the component name. Control C. This is the component name. Control C. Right? Component name. What I'm going to do now, I come to my dynamic component in the P1. What is the P1 says? Here you have to give the component that you want to create. I want to create what component? See, I want system to dynamically create this component. P2, any attribute? Nothing. Leave it blank. P2, parameter 2, attribute for that particular component. Nothing. So leave it blank. I'm not giving anything here. No aura. I can give aura ID. There's no label. I don't need to give a label to this or something like that. Function. What you will do? If status equals to success, then what you have to do? Var anything bb is equals to components dot get. Get what? Get that location where do you want to place. V dot body. Now in the bb dot, right? Sorry, right? Not in the bb, right? Then whatever you got it, bb dot push on this. Push what? My comp. Push my comp. bb dot push my comp. Now go and set it back. Components dot set. Set what? Set v dot body body comma bb. Set with bb. This time I'm not creating a custom button or something like that. I'm saving it. Keep watching. I close the search account. I'm calling a custom component which I already created. I'm calling a custom component which I already created. Pre-created component I'm calling. See? Now I go ahead and I create an application for this. File, new, Lightning application. Copy the name. I will say LA. Lightning application. I created a component. File, new, application. LA. Submit. Call the component. C colon, my dynamic component, today's class. Extends equals to force SLDS. Click on preview. One blue button will come called create component. Dynamically created component will appear below. Click on create component. See, account search got created. Does it work? Yes. Type A, click search. It works. This component, I developed it and then I created this component dynamically. I'm clicking the button, then only this component is getting called. Actually, it's not called, it is getting created. See? The way with a click of a button, you created another button. Now with a click of a button, I created a component which has already been pre-created earlier. Only one button is there. V.body. In this, I pushed what? My custom component. In this, I pushed what? my custom component. Guys, able to understand? Yes or no? Everyone.
Yes, Rupam.
Each one of you in the class able to understand this concept. In the page, this I'm not calling this component directly in the here. I'm not calling it like this, C colon with that. I'm not calling this component, guys. Remember that. That is called calling a component. What is the difference? This is nothing but a component you're calling. There it's getting created. Here, right? You're calling a component. If you run this, you'll get the component, right? Control S as the page load, right? Refresh the component also. That component will be called and it will be loaded here. But when you click this button, see, both look same. One is called, one is created. Rupam, what is the difference between these two then? What is the difference between these two? When you say call, the component is visible to everyone. You know that you're calling it, right? But see the difference here. I don't know what will come. Programmatically, I'm creating and I'm pushing that. In the program, I'm creating it. And then that here, the component is created by the system. Here, the component is created by the program. Already you created a component, you can display like this. No. Now I want this component which I created to be recreated by the system, right? By my custom controller. Then we go by this dynamic component. What is the use? Security. What security? For example, credit card details. Credit card details are mostly dynamic components. We'll create component, you'll enter the data, we will take the data, and then the component will be destroyed. There is no physical field called enter credit card number, enter CCV number, enter. Next class, when I do the dynamic components, then you'll understand, right? Now only I'm giving you an advanced information where it is used. Mostly, whenever you want to capture a data securely, we go by dynamic component concept. For example, credit card details. I don't want those fields to be visible to the hackers. Hackers will be able to see only v.body. What is there inside the v.body? They doesn't know. What will be there inside the v.body? Inside the v.body, right, automatically 5 fields will be created. Credit card name on the credit card number, second field, expiry date, right? CCV number, expiry date will have 2 months and year, CCV number, right? Credit card number, like this, there will be a couple of fields. 5 fields will be there. Name, card number, month, year, CCV. All these 5 fields will be dynamically created using what? Create components, which you'll see tomorrow. User will enter the data. As soon as they click on next button, immediately that fields will be destroyed. Only the data will be taken. That means during the runtime, only during the runtime, no data is stored anywhere. We will capture the data and we'll pass it to the bank website. That is the reason from Flipkart, you have been diverted to the merchant or the bank website. You don't enter the OTPs and everything in the Flipkart page. Flipkart never stores. Flipkart says, sorry, right? You are entering card number, we take your card number securely, and then we divert you to the respective bank. Your data is not saved with us. There's a checkbox. Do you want to save it? No. Then a dynamic component will be created. You enter the data, and those data will be directly passed to the bank, and Flipkart will delete those data. The whole component is deleted. If the component is deleted, data is also lost, right? In such case, we use this dynamic components concept, especially when you want to capture a field securely. You don't want to store that data. I want it should be there in the runtime. In the runtime, a field will be created. These fields will be created runtime. There'll be no specific XPath. Every field will have element ID. A hacker cannot, if he's able to get that okay, these are getting dynamic created, he doesn't even know next time what will be the ID of that element, because this all will be dynamically created. We are giving a physical ID. You might be thinking Aura ID, but these components will create a dynamic IDs, dynamic binding IDs. That is the reason whenever you go to any bank website, for example, I'm going to Citibank, right? CITIBANK, because, or you see all these ATM machines which touch screen. You go ahead and see ATM machines with touch screen. Every time the numbers, the keypad sequence will change. They'll not be same sequence. I say login now, right? Your keypad is not same. I will say, right? What is that? Enter a virtual keyboard. You see this ABCD, this number 654. Now it's 654 here, right? Next time when I refresh, the sequence will change immediately. Login. 695. See. Next time if I refresh, you'll see complete sequence will get changed. Enter virtually. Enter virtual keyboard. See 074 now. The numbering sequence changes. Certain things are changing. Dynamically, these are changing. These are dynamically getting changing so that nobody can track a click. Earlier it was 6, now it is 0 here. So if a hacker would have said that, okay, the first button is 6, he's wrong. That time it was 6 for that instance. For this instance, this is 0. Next instance, that button can be 4. Randomly it will take. Whatever the data that you enter here are not stored anywhere. Only for entering sake, dynamic components. They are very important concept in Salesforce. In fact, in every technology, they should be there. You create a component and you destroy the component. Tomorrow we will see how to destroy the component. Today I'm just seeing how to create a dynamic component. Right? I create a dynamic component. Able to understand the use of it, guys? Yes or no, everyone in the class?
Yes, Rupam.
Right? How to create a dynamic component. Last and final time I'm showing you in a very simpler manner again, right? In a very straightforward, going back to 0, file, new, lightning component. LC underscore 0502 underscore example 3 underscore dynamic dynamic compo component 3 dynamic component 3 submit. What do you want? I want a single button. You can trigger it with anything. You can trigger with a button. You can trigger with a on change event, right? You can trigger with anything. Let's trigger with a button, right? So lightning button button. Mostly I'm triggering with button. You can trigger with on change because mostly we trigger with the button only, but doesn't mean that always button. You can call it with any function. Any event would be found fine. Lightning button label equals to, right? Label equals to CREDIT, credit card. CAR or proceed for payment. Proceed for payment. There's a button. On click. On click. Exclamation C dot create payment component. Function will be called. And where will be displayed? Paragraph tag, and I want to display it here. Wherever you want to display, you said that v dot body. Here I want to display. Perfect. You now put a page block, right? What is that? LIGHTN in lightning. Page lightning card. Title equals to credit card details. and I want my component to appear here. Nobody knows in this name is there, credit card number is there. How to take the data out from this one field, nobody knows now. How the structure is there, nobody knows. Controllers. Anybody who hacks it would be able to see v.body, credit card details. What is this? Where it is? There is no definition. I didn't define an attribute also. If I define an attribute, they can take the data from that attribute. They can hack from there. But now there is no attribute also defined. What is this v.body? Nobody knows. Right? Now I go to the controller. I paste it here. Perfect. Now here I'll create a component directly. Actually, I am supposed to create dynamic components. Multiple field has to come. In this 5 field has to come. Credit card name, credit card number, expiry month, expiry date, CCV number, 5 fields. And that is tomorrow's class. Dynamic components. In one single body, I can push 5 fields, 6 fields, 10 fields, 100 fields. Array of the fields will be created. Array. Now, today we don't know how to do that. We only know $a dot create component. $a dot create component. It has 3 parameters. By now it should be by heart to you. It has 3 parameters. First one, what do you want to create? You can call a custom component. You can also call lightning input, LIGHT lightning, INPUT input. Lightning spelling is wrong, LIGHT lightning. Keep watching the spelling mistake. Lightning input. Next, second parameter, information about this. Lightning input. I will say label equals to label. It is in a JSON format. Label, right? What is a label? Label, I want to set it with enter CREDIT, credit CRD card name printed on the credit card, okay? CARD. Enter name on the credit card, okay? That it means enter name on credit card. Whatever the name that is printed on the credit card, label. Next, perfect. What is the thing? Aura ID. I don't want to store in any attribute, because if you store in an attribute, then again there's a problem, is that hacking. That is the reason everything is runtime. In the runtime only we will find by ID, will capture the value. Aura ID equals to INP1. Nowhere, no attribute, nowhere the data is getting stored. With an Aura ID, component.find Aura ID dot get value. It'll get the value, whatever. Everything in runtime only. It'll create in the sky. It'll accept the credit card number in the sky. From the sky, it will transfer it to the bank page. I have nothing to do with the bank page. That is bank security. If the page is hacked, then you need to contact bank. I am not taking your data. I am giving it to the bank. There you are entering the OTP. Bank is giving a response back to me. And I say order created. None of your credit card details are stored in my system. None of your OTPs are stored in my system. Right? We don't know anything about your bank details. This is how the Flipkart will raise their hands. They will say, right, we don't capture your details. Right? So input, anything else? Nothing. Right? Nothing. Done. Third parameter. What is the third parameter? Comma. Third parameter is, right, is a function. FUNCTION function. In this, there are 3 parameters. Third parameter function.
We have to write on change or something.
No, that's okay. I'm not capturing now, I'm just capturing it. Right? What is that? I will say CC name, status, error message. If status equals to success, then what will do? Where anything body equals to components. dot get. I'm doing it so many times by now it should be by hearted. v dot body, get the body. Then body dot push. Push what? Push CC name. Push the CC name to that. Then component dot set. Component dot set what? v dot body set with body. Over. One field is created dynamically. Only one field. Input field will be created. New Lightning application. Copy the name. I'll say LA. Right? Submit. In this, I'll call the component. Extends. What is that? Force review. One, proceed for credit card payment. Click on it. Enter your credit card name. RUPM Rupam. Right? Like this. In the next class, we will see multiple fields. In a single button, how can I have a multiple component? This is called single component. You created only one component. Dynamic component. Tomorrow's class, we will see dynamic components. Multiple. Whenever you click on proceed for payment card, 5 fields will come. 5 fields, 1 button. Proceed. When you click proceed, we'll capture all the data and we'll pass it to the bank website, or we'll display on the message box, or we'll display on the next component. You can do anything. So your whole aim is to capture the data in the fly, enter the data in the fly, capture the data while flying, and pass the data to wherever, whoever you want in the flying only. Everything in the flying. No fixed data entry fields. Such type of components are called as dynamic components. A component during runtime, a component during the fly process, whenever you create a component during runtime, only during runtime, we call them as dynamic components. Tomorrow, I will show you how to create dynamic components and destroying a component, handing over the data. Nothing. This is what we're going to see tomorrow. And then we will go to the action overrides with Aura methods. Everybody in the classroom able to understand how to write a dynamic component. What is the importance of a dynamic component? Yes, guys?
Yes, Rupam.
Right? Anybody has any questions? Anybody has any questions? Anybody? I know that the programming is going a little bit high level, right? You need to practice, right? I don't think it's bouncing, but as you're doing for the first time, I believe that you have to, look on it, right? So that's it for today. I'll stop here. Tomorrow we will meet at 9:30 your standard time. We'll continue the class with dynamic components and action overrides. All these concepts are important for the interview perspective, for your real-time work perspective, right? So please focus, do not bunk. That's it from my side. Thank you. Have a nice and wonderful day. Bye-bye, guys. Take care.
Bye, Rupam.